Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, the third quarter kicking off right now on this NFL Draft Day, round one coming your way tonight. I can feel the excitement coming through here. So coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll catch up with Jake. So second to last call for any questions, hunting, fishing related. We got the fishing opener coming up next week and such. Maybe you're in the middle of turkey season and such. So please send those on over. Hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Shout out to Jared from Manitowoc who's tuning in as well. We got Manitowoc. We've got Matt in Ohio. Tom from across the pond, literally from across that big pond, the ocean. So worldwide, Carter. How about that? We've got, speaking of Tom saying a huge fan of the Packers trading us the 45th pick in the 2023 draft for us to get Brian Branch. Also, completely agree with Carter. Got to take every small advantage these days for those division games. So we got Zach that's also on there saying good morning to the Section 105 over there. So join in on the chat on that video stream if you'd like on Man Cave TV. Just go to YouTube and search up Man Cave TV and got the whole crew in there. So we're always looking for new members for Section 105. But you ready for a little Enough is Enough Thursday? Although I don't think anybody can top what Mike just did before the top of the hour. That was pretty epic. So my Enough is Enough is I usually don't like to do this, calling out fellow sports media people, but Stephen A. Smith, the whole golfers and NASCAR, I don't know if you heard this, but he went on it was either his show or his podcast. I can't remember. But he said that it was on his radio show. He said that golfers and NASCAR drivers are not athletes. Come on, man, that don't count. You're driving a car. I'm being honest. It's a great sport, but come on. Getting behind the wheel of a car is not the same. You can get behind the wheel of a car in your 60s and 70s, for crying out loud. Just because you got to walk the course for 18 holes for 4 days, that does not make you an athlete. Okay, dude. I've heard this argument before for years and years and years. Enough's enough with this. The whole 60 because you're 60 or 70 is such a lame argument or reason that no. First of all, I don't think I could even try to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR car going 200 some miles per hour and you're inches away behind the bumper of another one for how many hours? I couldn't do it. Golfing wise, I think, okay. And then he was because he brought up Tiger and then he kind of backed off a little bit because of Tiger. The thing is, I think to be an athlete, a lot of people just look at the physical side of it all. You have got to be so mentally tough to be a professional golfer. The mental aspect of that game. I played in high school. I played a little bit in college. I have the worst mental capacity. Like one shot will ruin me. You look at these pros and then the thousands of people who are lining up and you got to hit it in front of all this. And so many people, I think, overlook the mental side of sports. That is, to me, in my opinion, it is part of being an athlete. It is part of being a top-fledged athlete. And, I mean, just to downplay that you're walking the course for, 18 holes and maybe you hit 70 shots or something like that, there's so much more that goes into it that is so short-sighted that enough is enough with those type of arguments.
I think the mental part of an athlete is if not the most important part, just because you've seen quarterbacks who, Tom Brady was one of the slowest quarterbacks ever, and that man was the best quarterback ever. Mm-hmm. So the mental aspect is the biggest part in football. And talking about golf, in my own experience, I can hit a drive 300 yards and then my chip lands in the water, and then it's like, oh, that was a wasted shot, right?
Right.
You got to be able to get back up. And I mean, NASCAR is, I'm not even talking NASCAR because I don't know a ton about it, but the mental aspect of sports, the ability to control your mind to what you're thinking, to how you see things, is just so important.
Mm-hmm. Well said. I completely agree with you, and I think that's incredibly short-sighted. It's not a very good take, in my opinion. I completely disagree with it. It's an opinion that has been out there for years upon years with those two sports, and I know people have kind of thrown out what is a sport, what do you define a sport, and all that. And I mean, if it's just. I think, especially for golf, I'll speak from my experience for golf. I've never been in a race car, and I don't have any ambition to because I'd be too nervous to. I'll just tell you that. I'll just be completely honest. I don't think I could do it. But from a golfing standpoint, I feel like people who don't play the sport or who have never tried it or who have never really seriously tried it think it's just an easy thing to pick up. It's not. It's not. It's an incredibly frustrating game. It's an incredibly mentally draining game at times. Everybody just thinks you can grip it and rip it. And mini golf, all you have to do is putt and all that. No, there is so much more that goes into it. Even people that have gone maybe just a couple times or a few times for a casual thing, it's like, oh, it's not that bad. Try it at a different level and then come back and talk to us. So,
I mean, those caddies know so much about the game too that as a golfer, you have to know which iron to use, which wood to use. I mean, the angle and the slope of the green. I mean, there's so much to take into account on a golf course. It's not just hitting the ball like you said. So,
yep, yeah, and I think it got the negative attachment to it for the longest time. That's why I always kind of say Tiger made it cool for me. When I was a kid, it had this negative, I don't know if negative is the right word, but it had this attachment to it. It's like, well, you got to have a lot of money to play golf. It's a fancy, sophisticated type of game and all that. And then comes Tiger, who is like this ripped, guy and just crushing drives in, and he made it cool. And that's why I always say that for me, Tiger is one of the more influential athletes of my childhood because it's the phrase I always say, he made it cool to go golfing. And I think he opened up that door for a lot of young people to try that sport. So.
And in golf, I mean, one wrong thing in your swing is going to cause the ball to land completely in the wrong way. Mm-hmm. So you could have a great swing and then you mess up one part of it and now it's an awful drive.
Yep.
So I think that's also the part of it where you have to be perfect on every hit for it to go well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. And again, from the NASCAR sort of thing, to be able to
get him in a vehicle if he thinks that's not
right
an athlete.
Yeah, what do you define as an athlete then? Because to me, all he defines as an athlete is the physical part of it. Mm-hmm. That's all that he defines. And I think if you really want to go down to brass tack, then you can look at the Olympics and look at some of those sports. Mm-hmm. Would he define some of those as, well, they're not athletes? Just, those are Olympic Games for crying out loud. So, enough's enough with that sort of talk. So get it out of here. But, all right. What did you said Luis Pena, he actually collapsed yesterday?
Yeah, suffered heat stroke, it sounds like.
Oh, man.
At the
one
game
of the top
yesterday.
Brewers prospects yesterday, stable and responsive. So he collapsed late Wednesday night. At the Timber Rattlers game too. In the dugout. The incident occurred. Okay, train. We're checking out. After a pitch deflected. Okay. Unconfirmed reports say he was rushed to the hospital. He was reportedly stable and responsive as of midnight, regardless of okay.
So I don't think it's been confirmed it was...
Okay. Oh,
nope, there was.
Overheating in a dugout from Adam McCulvey. Okay. Oh, and the game was actually called in the 8th inning. Okay. Wow. Man, administered IV fluids and is doing better. Man. All right. So hopefully he continues to get better. Mm-hmm. Hopefully he continues to get better. So, but anywho, let's take a quick break and kind of reset here. We got the draft coming up here. Got a few more of you chiming in saying, what's the best Packers pick of all time? What's the best or most underrated Packers pick of all time? I'm still with intern here. I think you hit it with the Mason Crosby one. Your favorite pick that maybe didn't pan out, or maybe, no, let me rephrase that. A pick that you thought was going to be really good but didn't pan out. And the biggest miss. It doesn't necessarily have to be the worst pick. It could be someone your favorite team didn't draft when they had a chance to. Yes, we know TJ Watt is there. That's probably the most recent one. So hit me up with your picks, though, or hit us up with your picks. Okay? Shoot us those messages. We'll be taking a quick break, but right back in just a couple minutes. Road trip season is right around the corner. Are you and your vehicle ready to go the distance? Before you hit the highway, make sure that your vehicle is in top shape with the help from AJM Automotive. From oil changes and tire checks to brakes and engine work, their experienced team will make sure that you are ready for wherever the road takes you. And now with 2 convenient locations in Eau Claire, getting your vehicle serviced has never been easier. Plan a trip and AJM Automotive will handle the rest. Visit AJMAutomotiveServices.com to schedule your appointment today. So let's, we got a couple more. We got, let me bring it up. There it is. Phil in Holcomb says, Donald Driver, underrated pick. Bill from Chippewa. Jerry Kramer, 4th round, passing on TJ Watt. I still get nauseated thinking about it. John says, I will argue all day that NASCAR drivers are athletes. It's so much more than turning left. The drivers have to listen to their car while they are racing, going 200 miles per hour and inches away from the wall, and other drivers also they could tell their crew chief what adjustments need to be made. Jared from Manitowoc says golfers, let's just say he disagrees. Says golfers in NASCAR are not athletes. Stephen A. is not a politician. So I think a lot of us right now are probably on the same side of this. So yeah, good. You got the mock draft. So of all of your mock drafts that you've been looking up here, Mr. Intern Carter, if you had to make a bold prediction for tonight, like a team trading up or something like that, anything that you think is at any team that you think is going to be, I'm curious what Jay Glazer is like teasing right now.
Yeah.
In case you didn't hear that, he had said that there's something juicy that he can't say. This is what bugs me about insiders too. Not their other relationships, but you kind of know what I'm getting at. But you see it during the season too. They save these stories till like Sunday's pregame shows and that. You're teasing a draft bombshell. Just say it. You know, I get it. I get it's the business. I get it. You're trying to draw attention and all that. But yeah, Jay Glazer was on Wake Up Barstool, and he essentially said that. Let me get the exact quote. That quote: "I know something that's going on. I just can't say it yet because I was told you can't say it until kind of getting on the clock there." Now, I will say this. Glazer is a little bit different than like the other insiders where it's like a race to be first. He's not like that. So I tend to think that there's got to be something there. I don't know what the heck it could be. So
I'm trying to think of players that could get traded, but I can't. I know Myles Garrett's name's been floated out. I don't think the Browns are trading him. I don't think Max Crosby's going anywhere.
It feels like he's alluding to a trade. Like when a team's on the clock and then that trades. Because I say that because if the part where he says, you know, we're kind of getting on the clock. Like if he reports it, then another team could jump in or do another trade and mess that thing up. Like it feels like there is a secret deal already made for a trade up. I don't know if it'd be something similar to like last year when I think it surprised a lot of people that the Jaguars moved up with Cleveland and got Travis Hunter. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's something like that, but That would be my guess.
Yeah, I think so.
And maybe it's somebody trading with Arizona.
I think the Commanders should do it. They could use a running back in Love. And they pick 7th, so I don't think it'd take a ton. Move up 4 spots, get your running back. I also think, I'm a partial Chiefs fan, I think the Chiefs they want to move up. They've got 9 and 27 in this year's draft.
So would you go defense or offensive line, since you're kind of a Chiefs fan?
I want Caleb Downs. I think Caleb Downs is the best player in this draft by a lot. The versatility he showed at Ohio State was incredible. He can play corner, he can play safety, he can play linebacker. He sees his vision's insane. He can run sideline to sideline. He's got incredible range. His 40 speed was really, really good. I mean, there's not many places he can't play, and so I'm surprised if he makes it down to 9. I think that would be a mistake, but I think he's the best player in the draft. But they also need a corner. So, but yeah, in the first round, I think the Commanders could use a running back. So moving up, I also just think Jerry Jones. Maybe he just uses the extra first round pick and moves up just to say he did it. So there's so many unknowns.
Yeah, I feel it's so hard to gauge trades, and I know there was a GM. I think it was actually the Chiefs GM that said last week that he thinks there's going to be a lot of trades. And with my team not being in it, I just want chaos tonight. I want to be entertained. So let's just see it. Let's see all this chaos. I've got no pressure, no anxiety for tonight. So let's just see the whole thing burn down.
Yes,
with a bunch of trades. So, keep those picks. Keep your picks coming. Who's the best draft pick in Packers history? The most underappreciated? A pick that you thought was going to be a home run and ended up not being. And who do you think is the biggest miss? Not necessarily the worst player, but somebody that they could have drafted it but didn't. T.J. Watt, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, Derek Thomas. Those are all the top ones there. But maybe think about, if we had to narrow it down, maybe somebody more recent. Like maybe in the last few years, like, dang it, I wish they would have gotten that person instead of Lucas Van Ness or something like that, So keep those coming. All right. We're going to switch gears here for just a little bit. Going to talk some outdoors with Jake Bolks, answering your questions. I know we've got the opener of fishing season coming up next week. Spring turkey season's going on, so if you have a question for our DNR warden right now, last call, got to text those questions in, okay? We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. With spring rolling into Eau Claire, it's time to get back outside and enjoy the season. And whether you're heading to the range or getting ready for hunting season or just gearing up for some time in the great outdoors, Tilden Gun is your local stop for selection, service, and expertise. They offer a wide range of firearms and accessories along with a knowledgeable staff who can help you find exactly what fits your needs. No pressure, just straight answers and real guidance. It's about making sure that you're comfortable, confident, and ready for your next outing. Spring is the season to get prepared, to get organized, and to get outside. And Tilden Gun is here to help you do just that. So stop on in and see what they've got in stock and why so many in the Chippewa Valley trust them year after year. Tilden Gun is your hometown source for gear, service, and expertise. All right, switching gears here for just a little bit, catching up with our guy, Mr. Jake Bolks, Conservation Warden for the great state of Wisconsin. Good morning, Jake. How you doing, bud?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Not bad, man. Enjoying some of the nice, warm weather these last couple days. That's for sure. I know it's supposed to change tonight, but taking advantage of it for sure, man.
Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely been beautiful. Last night I cooked up some hamburgers for the kids and had a bonfire, and it sure felt like summer.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Maybe a nice little prelude to hopefully some weather for next weekend for the opening fishing season too, right?
Exactly. It looks like it might cool down a little bit before then, but, I mean, it ain't going to go back to winter anytime soon. So I think, whether it's a crisp morning or not, I think, we're in it now where you're going to be wearing T-shirts or light jackets, throughout most of the day. So should be pretty good.
Yeah, no doubt. So I know next week we've got the opener and such, but Michael, I've been seeing people getting the boats out, they're getting ready and such. But can people go, can they go fishing right now if they wanted to, Jake, as long as they have a license?
Yeah, definitely. So there's, in Wisconsin, there's plenty of open seasons. It seems like just about for everything year-round these days. If you're going to do some fishing, panfish anywhere in the state, it's a continuous open season. The main thing you want to make sure with panfish is that on what lake you're on, you have the correct, bag limit if you're keeping them and stuff like that. A lot of the boundary waters have a continuous season, so open year-round, including the Chippewa, the Mississippi, I think like the Menominee over on the other side of the state, and some of the Great Lakes. So you want to look at stuff like that if you want to get out. But like you said, if you're waiting to hit some of our inland lakes, your Lake Altunas, your Chippewa County lakes, that's only a week and a half away where you'll be able to go out and fish and be legal.
So, again, kind of a reminder, too, if you are out fishing, with those that are not in season, catch and release, correct?
So, in Wisconsin, unless it specifies a catch and release season, when it's closed, it's closed. Like, you can't target them even for catch and release. So, like bass. So, bass, we have as of a few years ago, like the newer catch and release season, which generally would be closed. But if you go out to Lake Altoona, for example, right now, and you target walleye, even if it's catch and release, you can't be doing that, or northern. So that's why you got to wait for that. A new season that you'll see in the regulations that specifically says catch and release is for sturgeon. So they kind of created a more of a statewide catch and release season starting the first Sunday or Saturday in June. Running through, I guess, the end of the year. So you'll see in the rigs that it'll show a catch and release season through the summer, and then a harvest season if you want to in September, like we've generally had.
Mm-hmm. If it's on accident, though, you just release it, right? Like if you're pan fishing and such, it's just
If you're doing something legal, you're fishing for bass or you're fishing for panfish, and you catch a walleye, you catch a northern, you catch a muskie, whatever. The key is just that you release it right away. Obviously, wardens use their discretion, and if you take a second to pop out the hook, take a quick picture, and get it back in, that's fine. We're not going to call that possession, but you got to get it back in the water. What some people have done, they claim this is their excuse when I catch them with a fish during the close season is, they might say that, they were just holding onto the fish for a while to take a picture by the shore and then release it. And it's obviously a lie, but the law states that you have to immediately release it if it's not in season. And by taking it away from the shoreline, putting it in your live well, or generally just handling it way too long, that indicates possession if it's not like an immediate release. That's why we use discretion to say take a picture and release it. But generally, if you're holding that thing longer than you should, it could be considered possession, and then it's an illegal fish if the season's closed.
Gotcha. All right. Hey, going on right now, obviously, is turkey season, spring turkey season's rolling. I've been seeing people posting up their gobblers, having any luck. I know a friend of mine's dad just actually shot one with a longbow. That'd be pretty cool to get a turkey with a longbow.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't talked to too many guys that are successful that way, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. So
good for him.
Yeah, no doubt. So from your side of things, how's the turkey season been going so far?
It's been going good. I guess from what we're observing, it's similar to what you just said there. We're seeing a lot of turkey shot, harvested. Those first 3 days last week were just like your perfect turkey hunting. Everything was greening up. It was cool mornings but warm days, good weather. In some areas people said the birds weren't talking. In other areas they were, talking like crazy. So Lot of success that first season. No big snowstorms, nothing like that. So it got pretty cold that Saturday, Sunday, but I still know people that went out and harvested some birds. So good start to all of that. From I guess an enforcement perspective, we've had a few calls already where people are self-reporting that they forgot to register their turkey, they forgot to buy their license, they thought they had an A tag, but they had a B tag, stuff like that. So I say that for two reasons. One, just as a reminder to make sure that you check your tags, make sure you got the appropriate ones, you're in the right season, you're in the right zone, and that once you're done, you register it right away. I was lucky enough to get one, and I registered it online, and it literally took 30 seconds. I just logged into my account, hit register, it asked a couple questions, time, sex, age, hit submit, and you're done. And it sends you a confirmation email to your email address, and that's how you know you successfully did it. So it's really, really easy. So I really encourage people to do that. So one, make sure you have everything, and then two, I really have a lot of respect for the people that self-report. It's a hard thing to do because you're owning up to a mistake, but doing that, you're taking accountability and you're handling the situation appropriately. I know we've talked about it before on here, and we talk about it all the time, in hunter safety and stuff, is that almost all of us, if not all of us, will have an accident, make a mistake someday, and it's how you handle it. So the people that use their integrity and accountability and call in and have that conversation with the game warden, it drastically changes the discretion that we can use. And a lot of those guys, ends up being a verbal warning and kind of a conversation about how to do better next time, and we work through it. So if a mistake does happen, I just really encourage people to call your local warden or self-report using the tip line, and we'll work through it.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, I got to ask you this question. I'm sure you've seen it kind of trending all over social media. The bobcat attack near Nakusa, the young turkey hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's obviously been all over the place here. I guess what I kind of want to ask you is, okay, if that happens, if something like that happens, and in this case, Carson is his name, he was able to shake off the bobcat, and it ran off. He had a few scratches and such. What if that bobcat doesn't let go and it's still on it? Can a hunter shoot the bobcats and such, or what's the protocol with that?
Yeah, if you got an animal attacking you, you got to protect your life first and foremost. Now, am I worried? Bobcat, 20 to 30 pound animal, maybe 40 if you're lucky. It's still an animal, it's still got claws, but you can handle it. I'm sure he wasn't as timid from it by taking a video the whole time through it. So, I think it's a cool experience. It's obviously unfortunate that he got attacked, and I'm sure he wasn't thinking that's how the result was going to be. But, Monday morning quarterback, at that point, if you don't want to get, jumped on, flinch at that thing and scare it away, But definitely if it's a squirrel attacking you, if it's a bobcat, if it's a wolf, if it's a cow, it doesn't matter. Your life is the most important thing, your health and safety. So definitely if you have to do whatever you have to do to protect your life. Now, the important thing is, that's not a carte blanche, oh, I saw a bear walking away from me at 60 yards during deer season, so I shot it with my 30-06. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, because I was scared of it. And I say that because I've had people say that to me, oh, I saw a bear, so I shot it because I was scared. It's well, no, it's got to be more like a situation that this Carson was in, where that thing was obviously creeping up on him, and it was, imminent, right? Mm-hmm. That's the time where you're going to protect yourself, and you just have to take care of what you take care of, and then just call the DNR and explain what happened.
How often do you get calls like that? I've heard stories where maybe a bear is charging somebody that's sitting on the ground and such. And I remember as a kid, and I think this was just one of those tales. As a kid, that was well, you have to have scratches on you before you can do anything. And I don't know if that's completely accurate and such, but
no, it's just more you gotta fear for your life, or it be imminently happening. There's no clear line in the dirt, because if you want to say you feared for your life, but that thing was in a tree 20 yards away and you were in your truck, you could say that, but, you know, doesn't mean that you're actually in danger of your life. It's got to be like an imminent thing. You don't need to wait for it to drop blood before you protect yourself. So you're good on that. In my whole career, I've yet to have someone call me and say, hey, you know, I shot this bear in the face, or this wolf, or this cougar, coyote, or bobcat because it was attacking me. But obviously it happens. You know, we heard about this one. We heard about the cougar one and the wolf one south of us the last couple of years. There's different bear ones across the state. And a lot of times, you know, I think it's more of a reaction from either, you know, the bear being scared because it got spooked, or the hunter being scared because the hunter got spooked, versus like a full-blown like attack.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, it's always interesting because I think, there was one actually a few years ago. I think, was it like a bear climbed a tree stand and, you know, kind of like bit somebody's back and such. So
yeah, that was just south of here too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That was everything happens just south of Eau Claire County. It sounds like the cougar, the wolf, the bear. So I think this happened more to the east central side of the state, but.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the main thing is it's just got to be like an imminent thing, and you got to fear for your life. And at the end of the day, you need to protect yourself. Like we all, whether it's gun safety or water safety or animal safety, you know, we want everyone to be safe and come home at the end of the day, you know.
Right.
I don't want someone to get killed because they waited for that wolf to bite them in the leg first, you know.
Exactly. Yep. JK, before I let you go, I know next week with the opener and such, I figured it's a good time to, you know, next week we'll talk about, you know, boats, boat landings, washing off, and, you know, all that sort of stuff and regulations. But before that, and before I let you go today, anything else you want to throw out there?
No, it's a good reminder, you know, boats expire March 31st, your registration. So you have to get those registered, you know, unless it's not due this year. You got to get them registered before you go out. You know, there's always a couple that, you know, that first opening weekend we contact, and sometimes they're just oblivious to it because it was in the boat or it was covered with the tarp and yada, yada. They didn't see it till they put it in the water, or we contacted them, and sometimes it's people, they didn't get to it, they didn't do it, and they just take the chance of hoping to not get contacted by, you know, by a game warden or something like that. So make sure to, if you're breaking that boat out, make sure it's registered, but also do a quick boater safety check, just like we're going to do when we contact you. Make sure you have life jackets that are applicable to the people in the boat, kid sizes, adult sizes, double, triple, extra large if you need it. Make sure they're applicable to what will actually save you. Make sure your fire extinguisher is actually on green, like it's good to go, and it's not from 1974 and it's in the red and says refill or recharge and stuff like that. Make sure your batteries are good. Make sure they're covered. Just make sure you have that all ready, because one, when you're excited to go out and go fishing, there's nothing worse than being stuck, you know, 10 feet from the boat launch when you dump your boat in and now you're not going anywhere. As well as, you know, it's a big weekend just like other ones, so there'll be plenty of wardens and deputies from the counties out and about, checking licenses, checking for safety, and just patrolling. So you just want to make sure you're in compliance.
Right. Good stuff there, Jake. Hey,
now's the time to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, man, appreciate the time as always, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the week and gear up for next weekend, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. It's always a good time.
Awesome. You got it. There you go. There's Jake Bolks, Conservation Warden for the great state of Wisconsin. Tell you what, we got to take a quick break. We're going to wrap up the third hour, and we'll be right back after these few words. Hey, coming up the weekend, May 15th through the 16th, it's Barbecue Fest at Chippewa Falls at the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds. And I'm going to be there for a little bit on Saturday with our good friends from Mike's Star Market. Mike's Star Market's going to be there, part of the competition and such. So whether you're a fan of some smoky ribs or pulled pork or some creative sides, Barbecue Fest offers delicious eats, lively entertainment, and memorable moments for all ages. Enjoy some live music, some friendly competitions, and a festive atmosphere as you explore vendor booths, flavorful barbecue offerings, and fun activities. So For tickets, just go to nwsfa.com/BBQ Fest. It's happening May 15th through the 16th. And again, we'll be there, or I'll be there for a little bit on the 16th with our good friends from Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire, and hopefully Mike's can bring home the championship. So we got a few minutes left to the top of the hour. I see Dan Orlovsky again is on the Ty Simpson train here, saying if he's not a first-round pick, essentially, what are we doing and evaluating quarterbacks and such. So you think Simpson's going to be a first-round pick tonight there, intern Carter?
I do. I think, yeah, late first round. I don't think he should be, but I think he does.
I'm going to say no, he doesn't.
Oh.
But he will be picked in the 30s. I just feel like Arizona's going to be able to stand pat at 34 and get him.
Yeah.
Like, what other team would want to? Steelers aren't picking him at 21, I don't think.
The Rams at 29?
I think
that's
they do have 2 first picks.
That's the Chiefs.
Oh, that's the Chiefs. Yeah, that's the Chiefs.
Browns at 6 would be good. That's the third round.
Still like 7. I don't know what other team would go up there and, like, what would they be afraid of?
Yeah, that's true.
Jets.
So maybe he doesn't.
Jets in the second round?
I think the Jets are waiting for next year.
I think so too. And I know that's kind of a dangerous thing, but the talent, the depth at that position is going to be a little bit better, I would think too. So
I think if they trade up, then they're scared somebody else is going to trade up.
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%. I would totally agree with that. And I think this is where I would love to sit in a draft room and just, is there manufactured rumors? Like, is Seattle floating a rumor out there to these other teams, just like leaking it out saying, hey, we got somebody that wants to trade up with us because they want Simpson. So if you want him, you're going to have to,
better offer.
Or there's got to be some of that gamesmanship, right? There's got to be some of that's going around. Besides the Jets, and I still don't think they're gonna pick him. The Cardinals literally are Jacoby Brissett's on their roster. And he's holding out because he wants more money now because he's going to be a starter. Whereas at least the Jets are going to have a bridge of Geno Smith this year. It's not the greatest, but still. And I agree with you. I think they're kind of more focused on next year. Gosh forbid Arch Manning in New York, but that would sell tickets. So
I think what the Steelers do could tell you a lot about Aaron Rodgers' decision. Because if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, they should take Ty Simpson because they need somebody other than Will Howard.
Yeah. They got Mason Rudolph. Or they could wait till next year too. They got enough talent. They're not going to have a top pick.
Yeah,
that's the thing. But is Simpson? Is he a legit starting quarterback?
Oh boy, I don't
like. I still even have questions about Mendoza. To be honest with you,
absolutely. Yeah. I think this is a quarterback's draft. It's kind of like last year with Cam Ward. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think Cam Ward was better than Mendoza coming out of college, but yeah, I have questions about Mendoza, and I still think he's better than Simpson. Like, I don't know if I'd pick Mendoza round 1. Mendoza, he had great tape in college, but is he that?
Well, and that's why he's probably not going to play it all this year unless they're just completely out of it and towards the back. Like, he's not initially going to start this year unless something is completely out there. But, I mean, okay, if like J.J. McCarthy was in this draft, would J.J. McCarthy be the number 1 pick? I think so.
Probably, which is sad. But, yeah, I think so.
I'm going to say no, he doesn't. I could be wrong. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I don't think he's going to.
I'll stay with yes, but that you make a good point. Although I feel like one team at the end is just going to do it. Just to do it almost.
If the Jets somehow play this right, where they force maybe the Cardinals to that position, or the Jets, I mean, they hold the Cards too at 33.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could make that pick. I'm trying to think of another team that would call the Jets and be like, hey, maybe it is a Steelers. Maybe do you have the Steelers second round pick by chance?
Steelers or Rams? 20.
So 53?
Right
Okay.
behind the Packers.
I mean, could they put together a potential package?
They could. I wonder if maybe the Cardinals get the 5th-year option and
That's
trade
the other
into
thing,
the first
too.
round.
It'd be, that's where we were talking about a little bit in the first hour with quarterbacks. And the Jets have the 44th pick, too. Yeah, that's the only other team I could see them. But I still think they want to wait till next year. That's
by signing Geno Smith, you kind of signal,
Yeah. So otherwise, I don't know what other team would be looking for that. Like maybe the Rams for a backup because they kind of need a backup now. So do the Rams even have a second-round pick? Yeah, right there, 61. They've already traded a lot of stuff though too. So, but they're kind of already in their mode of you know what about those picks. So, all right, we'll talk some more draft coming up in the final hour. Really quick, again, in your opinion, the best Packers draft pick of all time, or your favorite team. If you're not a Packers fan, give me your favorite pick of all time. The most underappreciated pick of all time for your favorite team. The pick that got away, the player that got away that your team had a legit shot at getting and they didn't. And for you, in your own opinion, a player that your team drafted that you were high on, you thought was going to be really